Former U.S. President Donald Trump is now in Milwaukee for the Republican National Convention as the FBI still hunts for clues about what may have driven a 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, to carry out the shocking assassination attempt against the former president. No clear motive has emerged for the shooting, which initial investigations suggest was carried out alone. It is being probed as a potential domestic terrorism act. Well, to talk more about all these developments as the focus shifts to the Republican convention, we're now joined by Catherine Gibson, correspondent, Voice of America, who's joining us live from Milwaukee. Thank you so much, Catherine, for joining us. And we're still waiting for for the probe to indicate what led to this shocking shooting attempt against Donald Trump, and the Republican convention following so shortly after this assassination bid. One can imagine emotions running high. Many are describing it as a turning point for the elections.
Absolutely. That is so right. I'm here in Milwaukee. Right behind me is the convention center where Donald Trump is expected to speak tonight. The first time we've heard from him since that assassination attempt. He expected to give a message of unity. He says that he's changing his message from one of attacking President Biden to reassuring the country that we don't need to solve our differences through political violence. Of course, I can also speak to the heightened security here. We already knew that this was going to be a high security environment. They've tightened that up even more after this assassination attempt. They're making sure that this situation doesn't happen again as all of the lawmakers, the delegates, the media of this country gather here in one place here in Milwaukee.
Right. And we've seen on the campaign trail and, from both sides, a lot of attacks against one another. But now, as you said, a call for unity. We heard President Biden as well in that rare address from the Oval Office also talking about how this is a time there's need for calm and unity across the country. And that is the message right now that all politicians across the line seem to be focusing on.
That's absolutely right. We've seen a lot of the negative campaigning suspended in the congressional races across this country. We heard President Biden in that rare Oval Office address say that politics should never be a killing field, that Americans solve their differences at the ballot box. They do not solve it through gun violence. This is the way we should be moving forward in this country. And we'll see if that message holds through what has been a very contentious political season here in the United States.
And another development that's taken place just a short while ago is a federal judge has dismissed the Trump classified documents case. If you could, tell us a bit about that.
Right. So this is one of the many court cases that was pending against the former president. We, of course, saw the verdict in the New York case a while back. We were expecting to see how that classified documents case was going to be playing out. And we've just learned here in Milwaukee that the judge has dismissed that case. It will not be moving forward. So a very important development for the former president as he is expected to speak here in Milwaukee.
All right. Thank you so much, Catherine Gibson, for joining us there live from Milwaukee. As we said, as the focus really shifts to the Republican convention. But as far as the probe into the shooting attempt against Donald Trump goes, as we said, the FBI is still hunting for clues and clarity as to what was the motive behind this shooting. Here's a report.
The FBI probe into Trump's assassination bid still groping in the dark to establish a motive.
We are investigating this as an assassination attempt, but also looking at it as a potential domestic terrorism act. So our counterterrorism division and our criminal divisions are working jointly together to determine the motive in this case.
Amateur videos on social media are adding to questions over the adequacy of Trump's Secret Service cover.
Obviously, civilian witnesses observed this individual for, they're claiming, a couple of minutes, maybe more, of this individual crawling along the rooftop, so on and so forth. And they were pointing to that individual, but the law enforcement on the ground seemed to be either somewhat confused or not understanding the severity of what was being witnessed by the civilians.
But what the agency leading the investigation, the FBI, is reasonably sure of is that 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks most likely acted alone. His schoolmates describe him as a recluse who kept to himself.
No, I didn't have any classes with him. My only interactions with him were just seeing him in school, and then he was bullied, sat alone at lunch.
The FBI has stated that Crooks had no prior criminal record. What we do know about him a day after he was shot dead is that Thomas Crooks was a nursing home employee from suburban Pittsburgh and a registered Republican. He graduated from high school 2 years ago. Crooks' family is also being questioned, and the ownership of the assault rifle has not been established yet. FBI says that it is probing the co-conspirator angle. In its latest statement, FBI has said that the assault weapon was legally bought. The explosives found in Thomas Crooks' car and his home in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, have been rendered safe by bomb experts. Despite the glaring security lapse, the Secret Service remains confident of security arrangements at Milwaukee.
So we are confident in these security plans that are in place for this event, and we're ready to go. It's been an 18-month process. We've worked together over that 18 months to develop operational security plans for any and all aspects of security related to this event. We're not anticipating any changes to our operational security plans for this event.
Donald Trump is the 7th American president to survive an assassination bid. And so far, a larger conspiracy has not been established in any presidential assassination bids in the United States of America. With Vishal Vivek, Bureau Report, NDTV.